How often are you wondering about the future? What could happen? What would happen? And what if you would have just done this differently? Well, do you know what that is? That's future thinking. And that's taking us from being mindful in the moment to thinking about what could happen and probably what's not going to happen. So in today's video, I'm going to explain how future thinking can get us off target, can cause anxiety and fear, and it's something that we need to be aware of so that we can actually help ourselves and be in control of our own happiness. Welcome back, friends. Ashley Berges here today, and today we're talking about future thinking. What is future thinking? And I think that future thinking to me is almost being in a prison in my own mind, because I'm thinking about all the choices that I made that were probably wrong. I wonder if I could have just changed that choice or said this differently, and things would be different, and my whole life would be different, a whole different trajectory. But you know what? It's interesting how when we future think, it ultimately is time consuming, making us powerless, feel powerless at least, and usually it ends up negative because it's not ever going to happen. If we try to live our life to that, well, we seem to come up short. So let's talk about future thinking. The first thing is that when we future think, we're constantly wondering, what if? What if this would have happened? What if I would have done this differently? What if this would have been my life? What if I would have made this choice? My whole life would be so much better now. But do you see what I'm saying? When we get into that what if, we're living out these concepts of these possible life scenarios that takes us off target and makes us question. But really, is this a place that we want to be at? Because I've realized that it's deflection from our current situation. And it takes us out of the ability to make changes, puts us on the sidelines of life and questioning our reality. And these are just random life scenarios that may or may not happen, but it's based on a diversion tactic to divert our resources into the future and not actually participate in our life. The second thing is you start asking yourself, if you've been in a previous relationship and you've left the relationship, is that person happy in their new life? Are they happy with that other person? Is that other person getting the rewards of all the work and love and care that you put into the relationship? And you start wondering, did I leave too soon? Did I make a bad choice? Would it have been better if I would have just stuck in it? All of these questions. But again, it takes us off of the moment. Right? It takes us from the moment of being in a place of power, and it makes us question our choices. It makes us question what we've done. And usually that begins to go down a rabbit hole to unravel other things, wondering if maybe if I wouldn't have done this in my past or that in my past. And it's causing us to question us as though we are the only one that makes a decision in any of this. And see, that's not the case. There's other people involved. And so as we keep trying to change the way we acted, we're almost missing the point in the fact that we're not actually looking at the scenario in play because there was other people involved. Their emotions, their actions, and everything else that they came with, including their previous programs as well. And it's funny how we think that if we changed one thing about us, that it would change. But this isn't a true reality. And so we begin to create more and more of those scenarios in our mind, making us feel worse about where we are right now. And another aspect about future thinking that I want to talk about is how fear can manifest from that future thought. And because we're no longer being mindful, we're now focusing on the future, and it seems like things speed up. And what I found is that many times people don't realize that fear or anxiety. They feel it, but they don't know where it came from. And so our thoughts create these feelings. You see what I'm saying? If I'm thinking about what I wish I would have done and what I didn't do, I'm going to feel lost. I'm going to feel hollow. I'm going to feel like I made a mistake, right? And I'm going to really focus on that. I'm going to feel that. But if I'm not realizing that I'm in my future thoughts, right, and I'm dwelling on that and I'm not in the moment, I'm not going to be mindful enough to stop that. And I'm going to get into that emotion. So I want you to catch when you are future thinking, because that's the only way that we can stop this. And that's the only way that you can stop that anxiety that comes from future thoughts. So I just want you to be able to catch yourself in your future thinking and you're on the sidelines of life, and being able to realize that a lot of this is predicated with the thought and then the emotion, right? When we have a thought about something that makes us upset, makes us maybe feel resentful, makes us question our reality, that can cause fear and anxiety, right? And so we need to be aware of where those feelings and emotions are coming from based on that future thinking. And the more that we can control that future thinking, the more we can actually stay in the moment in a place where we can actually make real change and actually create a reality in the moment instead of thinking about the other options. And so it's just reverting that energy back within, being able to catch the fact that you're over here thinking about the future, pulling that back in as quickly as possible, refocusing on the moment and being aware of the moment in time. And I find that this is going to really help you, because when we get the future thinking off the plate, then we focus on the past thinking, right? And then we focus about the internal dialogue that we're having on. But this is the first thing that we have to let go of, because there's just not enough space in our minds to think about all these thoughts on a daily basis. So once we clear out the future thinking first, then we can work on the past thoughts, and then we can begin to work on even the self-sabotaging thoughts that we have. But we got to let go of this, because this keeps us in a questioning position, and usually makes us question about the things that we didn't do, unfortunately, that supposedly would have made everything better. I hope this video has helped you. Please share it with family and friends and anybody that you think might be dealing with this. And I think this is pretty much a human thing, right? To deal with future thinking and to not really be aware that we are focusing on that. And so be more aware of that. If there's an exercise that you use to refocus your energy back into self when you catch yourself future thinking, I want to know what that is. Please put that in the comment section here on this video, because I think many of us need to work on being mindful, and we need to work at not exiting to the future when we're not focusing. We need to refocus that energy and take over and take control of our life. And this is one of the first steps that we can to also feel very powerful in our choices and to stop questioning our gut. And don't forget to live your true life.